Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy National Coming Out Day. It's Transverse here. As you can see, I'm dressed up. I'll explain to that in a little bit, but I wanted to talk to you guys. I'm sorry I haven't been here in a while. There's a lot that's been going on in my life. I don't remember if I spoke about it, since, like I said, a lot's been going on, so my brain's been all over the place, but I was supposed to have stage 2 phalloplasty for me being female to male transition. For those who don't know me and who are just coming into this video, I would check back with the first couple of videos and it'll explain everything. But yeah, I was supposed to have that surgery this October 30th, which would have been kind of cool because, I mean, yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh crap, Halloween's the next day, so how scary that would be. But then I'm like, nah, this will be good, I'll make it through, like I just have to stay positive. And one of the main reasons that I ended up having it's not like I canceled, it's more of a reschedule, but I had to reschedule and put off for next year because financial funds, like most of us know, we don't make enough, nor does our government pay, and it's just really expensive for us. And even with having like free insurance, say like I get Medi-Cal, or people in Vegas might get Medicaid, or whatever it's called in other states and stuff and cities, but yeah, that really took it. But I mean, so us having that, even then, that doesn't do too much, and that kind of sucks because, yeah, maybe it pays for the surgery, but it doesn't pay for the housing. And like housing in San Francisco, for those who don't know, it is so expensive. I looked it up. Even just Airbnbs, I mean, that would be probably the cheapest way to go for those who are getting ready to have this. I don't know if I still have the pages for it, but if anybody is looking for some information on that, I do have a couple of housing options that are trans inclusive, or community-based inclusive, which to me that would be great. And that's one of the reasons is why I ended up rescheduling, is because I realized that as bad as I would love to stay in one of those, because think about it, there's hotels, but hotels, you have to worry about making a mess on the sheets, or anywhere you go, I suppose, but even more so in a hotel, feeling like very awful about it, because it's like, oh crap, what if this happens, what if that happens? But then and there's a lot, and that's the thing, is there's pros and cons to it, because then your pro is if you don't end up getting into a community-based home for recovery, then you go to, what do you call it, you go to a hotel, right? And at that point you get privacy, so you don't have to worry about too much. But then the other thing is, if you go to an inclusive home, you also have people that know what's going on and all that, and it's like an Airbnb, my last resort, is which that was going to be the option. And I was nervous because I was like, well, I'm thinking if I do an Airbnb, these people, I don't know how I'm supposed to tell them this is what I'm here for, considering I don't think this is a normal thing people do for this kind of, for these people at least. I mean, there are Airbnbs that I know people rent for this kind of thing. I just have never done it, so I wasn't sure what to do. So anyway, I got rescheduled, and on the plus side, let's all cross our fingers, folks, and hope that I get good luck from this, because I had surgery for the stage 1 of phalloplasty in January, which consisted of, it was a bilateral laparoscopic hysterectomy or something, and then a vaginectomy, I think is what it was. It was all in one. It was, I did the hysterectomy, and then I did the stage 1 of phallo at the same time. Might as well, I figured. I said, get it out of the way, make it easier so I'm not going out of work twice, because I'm already going out of work enough, So they were able to squeeze that in. So anyway, those same people, I went to West LA, Kaiser Permanente of Southern California, and they were able to do it. Now, there were some complications that I had, and so it kind of scares me, because now here's where it cuts at. These people are going to hopefully be doing the second part for me, so I don't have to go traveling to San Fran. And as bad as I would like to go, more so like anybody, because, I got the best of the best out there, and I would love to explore it, I think it'll be in my best option to financially stay where I'm at. So for those who are having issues, see if also that could be a thing, that maybe you talk to your insurance provider, or find out if there's a social worker or somebody they can contact you, so you can get information like that. Because I think, in all fairness, I think everybody should get that kind of option, because financially it's just not right that we all have to say, oh well, that's all you get, sorry, this is where you gotta go. No, I mean, in reality, this is what we all want, and I know I want it, because I made it clear, is I need best results, because the results are what, are what really get it. And that's what really makes it. And so, yeah, so anyway, they're the ones that are going to do it. But back to the complications is I'm scared because the first time I had the surgery by them, it was so awful because I was stuck with a catheter for longer than thought that I was anticipating, because I, first of all, forgot a couple of things. But second of all, because what happened is, okay, so for the first part, I was in the hospital for over the weekend. I got to go home, and then I came home, and during the week of being home, we noticed that I was like, why do I feel like I have to go to the bathroom? And I mean, that's going to be somewhat normal for those of us who end up having a catheter, but the way I felt, trust me guys, it was not great. It felt so bad, and I swore I thought my stomach was expanding, because I was like, and like it just didn't feel right. And right after having surgery, you're stitched down there, and anywhere particularly, it's not a good feeling to want to push, because you never know what's going to happen. And the fact that I'm not good with doing certain things, so like that was really hard for me, and it was really emotional, and it was really stressful. And my mom was here, thank God, but to see her go through what I was going through, it really killed me. It was like, damn, but that's my mom, like that's what any parent is, thank God. At least mine, she cared enough, to be there for me. And so, so after having all that, I go back in, but this time, let me mind you, for those who end up having this, watch out, Kaiser Permanente, Panorama City, and I'm putting this out there. Maybe I'm not supposed to, but they are not the greatest of Kaiser Permanente hospitals to be at, because when I had this other injury, this other problem, I went in there and they're like, oh yeah, we're sorry, but we don't know anything about urology, and we don't have one here, and we know nothing about this, so we need to call one. And I'm already in this bed screaming at the top of my lungs, like, why does this hurt? Help, help. And then, like, they finally, after, like, maybe it feels like an hour, somebody finally fucking shows up. Oh, excuse me for that, but, like, I was mad, right? So somebody finally shows up, and I don't know what possessed them to do this, but I think at first they tried to do something with, like, a pump to flush me, but that didn't work. And so then I think they decided to end up after doing that, pulling out the catheter, which then, and this might be a little gruesome to some, or TMI, but what, all the liquids that were stuck inside of me ended up coming out, and I just ended up laying in that. So whatever it was, whether it was blood or whatever, the water, the urination, whatever, I laid in that for quite a while. And that sucked, and they didn't really numb me up and give me anything to pull this out. They just kind of went whoop, and I'm just like, really? Like, to be fair, like, out of that hospital and compared to the others I've been to, that one gets, like, out of a 5-star rating, probably a 2, maybe a 3, I don't know. I mean, it really sucked, because, like, that really is not pleasant. So I'm hoping nobody else has to go through that like me, because unfortunately that's just, yeah. So back to that is they then put in another catheter, and first of all, I don't think that one went in right, because after putting that one in, it felt like it was worse, because with the catheter, depending on where it is, and depending on how long or how short and how long, it can hurt worse, because if you tangle it up or twist it, it's crazy. It's not, to me, it sucked. And so them doing that, I'm like, okay, whatever. We go home and we continuously do flushing, which you take saline in a bucket, take a syringe, you suck it in, pull it out, suck it back in the bowl just to clean it out from the previous use, and then you use it, and then you have to put it inside the little pump area that's connected to your catheter, and you have to pump it in. And trust me, that sucks, because you feel it going in, and then when they pull it out, you feel it coming out. And coming out isn't as bad as going in, because going in is worse, because it's making you feel more like you've got to urinate and more bloated, and that really, really is like a real irritation. And so we were doing that, and then we noticed that I was feeling a little fine, and we started to see some changes. And thank God, because, after that, I meant, to mention something, and I'm going nuts because I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, oops, I forgot to put it. But in reality with this, my catheter started flowing up with blood, and I was like, this is not normal. And so in doing that, after another, few days go by, I start to feel this again, and I'm like, this is not right. And I had already kind of knew what was going on because I had already spoken to somebody about this previously, which is how I got to the hospital the second time after the surgery. So then I go to this third time hospital, but this time I go back to West LA, which is where I started, and thank God I did, because they were able to figure out what the frickin' problem was, but it wasn't until a few days after being in the hospital that they then realized, because I finally go back in, and it was weird, because as soon as I got there, I get out of the car, as I know I have to go to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden, my stomach just goes, whew, and my bag just starts emptying, and I was like, what the, because, my bag wasn't also emptying, so I wasn't able to urinate or go to the bathroom, it was just getting stuck, and that was also the other reason why I kept feeling so bad. So when I went back to West LA, they were all funnily surprised to see me, oh, ha, 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 it's you. And I was mad because I was hungry and I hadn't been eating right and I wasn't feeling good. So I'd been like dying and I was thirsty and they wouldn't let me eat or drink anything because they were like, oh, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. And I'm like, the fuck I don't. And excuse me for cursing again, but I was like, the heck I don't. I was like, I just want to go home. I said, you don't understand how irritating this is. And so for anybody who's going through this, I really, I hope you can be stronger than myself and have better chances than me on that spectrum. But anyway, I then finally get to go upstairs, and they're all like, oh my God, it's you again. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. And then my urologist the next day comes to check on me and keeps checking on me for the next few days. And then when they realize it's still not going away, and mind you, I'm also getting woke up every couple of hours or whatever it was to get my blood drawn, which was really annoying because I hate blood draws and needles and ugh. And I just wanted sleep, and I wasn't getting enough of it because then the catheter is in the way, so I can't sleep on my sides. No way with that. Heck no. And then, so after a few days go by, when my urologist says, let's try something, takes out my catheter, does the same thing that the people at the other hospital do, but this time I got numbed up, but it still didn't fix the problem. So then the next day comes by, and they think everything's fine, and then the day after that, which it's already been almost a week now, I then end up getting stuck in the hospital, that whole week, and that was just as miserable, right? Worse than the first time. So then she finally realizes, well, maybe we need to go inside and look. And glad they did, because who knows what would have happened had they not. But when they went to look inside, they found out that I was bleeding from somewhere inside. So it could have been that I was already bleeding and they didn't realize that the first time, or it could have been the second time when the other idiots tried to put the catheter in again, that they might have punched something. We don't know for sure, and I don't honestly remember. I was too drugged up all that time that honestly I don't remember much. So she finally does that, and then I end up on a heart monitor after that, and I'm just like, really? Like, no? Because I had a really good room. I was upstairs. I was in my own private room. It was huge. It was quiet. And then they stick me on another floor where, unfortunately to me and my mother, it was so small, there was nowhere for her to really sleep. They barely gave her a miniature little bed. And then, and it was a pull-out little thing, but compared to the room we had before, it was way bigger. So she had that same bed, but it was easier to use. And the room next to me, this lady kept screaming and screaming. And I was like, what the heck does this lady want? And it comes to find out the day I left, my dad found out that the lady was screaming for nothing. Like, excuse me. But she would scream and the people would come in, right? And they would go, what's wrong? And she'd be like, nothing. And it's like, what the hell? Like, do you have to? So, like, here's an instant. I'm going to show you a cup. It's not like the same cup that I use, but it's for an example. But if you're ever in a hospital and you don't have a speaker, and if you don't want to be too rude to the hospital, get those little styrofoam cups, like a cup, and just basically put your phone in it, without the lids, of course. But if you get the little styrofoam cup, you just put your phone in one end, and it's supposed to make it a little louder. It's not much, but it does something. And personally, I think that's kind of cool, like, I don't even remember how I found out about this years ago, before we all had portable speakers. Like, duh, we had to do something back in the day. I mean, I'm not that old, I'm only 27, but I still, I remember doing stuff like that as a kid. Like, I would put stuff inside of little cups like that to make it louder. I think I used to do it more so in school too, because I know back in school we couldn't have much, but so that's a little trick y'all can get if you need it. And yeah, so back to it, as hopefully when I go in and and anyway, the reschedule will hopefully go in within next February to March. I don't know. And there's a plus to this if it all goes well, which is why I said earlier, wish me luck. But they just did, because they still have to do the other same surgery that they did to me in January to other people, assumptioningly. So no wonder I have to wait a while. But they just did their first stage 2 of fallow just this month ago, I think they said, when I was just there last week. And so that's somewhat reassuring. They said the people came from NorCal to come assist with them. So I'm wondering if that's going to be an option when I go, because if it's the same people in NorCal coming down again when they go to do me, that means that I get the same doctors that I was initially getting the first time, which would be great, because as I've already mentioned, and I don't know about most of you, but for me, I made it very clear that I just want in specifically results, because we got to live with this for the rest of our life, and I don't want just a little blob thrown on me and here you go, goodbye, because let me tell you guys, I had top surgery in 2016, and I'm going to tell you guys, for surgery and any kind of surgery, please do research. Don't be like me and just go, oh, I got to get it out of the way. I need this. I need to be, me, and whatever you guys think, whatever, because that was me. I was like, I want to be cool. I want to be me. I want to finally be happy. I don't care. And then at the end, I realized I should have done more research. Now, I'm not mad because I get to be able, I get to be me sometimes. And I get to go out and do stuff. Like I can go to the beach shirtless. I can go swimming, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not bad, but my results aren't the way I would like. But that's, that's just part of me. So you guys just do your research. If you got any questions, hit me up for it. And yeah, there goes that topic. Now, my last topic is it's National Coming Out Day. I would love to see if anybody, I don't know how many people are in my subscribe list that are in the community of Spectrum, but if you are, I would like to see if you want to put down your comments and let me know how you came out or when you came out. And if you haven't come out and you'd like to, feel free to write your DM in my comments or find a way to DM me and we can talk if you'd like. I'm here for that. I'm all about support and giving it. You know that. Now, I don't even know if I talked about when I came out, but I suppose I could. But if I did, it's no problem. I'll do it anyways. Man, my coming out. Wow, that's weird. I honestly don't remember too much about it. I mean, I know the exact day, I just don't remember what day, but I remember a lot about it because it was a fun day, and it's funny I'm talking about it because I was wearing a suit that day, and I'm in a suit. But, I think most of my family supposedly said that they knew I was already before I said something, which was funny because I don't know how, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, it's the way I used to dress and all this, and I never really talked the way I used to just dress and maybe the things that I like to play with, I don't know. It's just weird how, when we're born, it's not like, oh, hey, you're thrown these toys, play with them. No, not everybody has that. So for me, it was weird that I remember that I used to get Hot Wheels as toys, and no, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie, but I did used to like playing with girls' toys. I didn't mind playing with Barbies or Brat dolls or whatever, but I wasn't into too much. That was probably as far as I would get. Otherwise, I was more into Legos and Hot Wheels and anything that a boy got. Because no offense, but boy toys are way better than girl toys. Because sorry, but to me, it's just girls sit there and they play dolls, and that's great, but I would rather go and do some crime fighting or play cops and robbers or something. I don't know. I was just weird, I guess. But yeah, I guess most of my family said they knew. But yeah, I was back in I think I was actually a fuck. Excuse me again for that. I don't like cursing on my videos, but I want to say I was a senior. I think that was it. Yeah, because, yeah, I was a senior. Duh, because that's the only time you get to go to prom, unless you're invited to one. But, yeah, I was a senior in high school. And it's funny because my best friend and I, we both turned out, we're both trans. So, me a he and she a she. And so at the time, nobody knew this. And I wasn't out as trans and neither was she. I was just out as, hey, I'm gay or whatever, and that's it. And she wasn't really out much, so we decided to play a prank on people. Now, I wish I could have filmed this, or I wish I had a way to, go back to that day just to get the priceless reactions of people, because she showed up in a dress and heels, and I showed up in a tuxedo, and now her in the dress and heels, that was a little much because, first of all, the heels were a pain a-hole of a-holes to get on, and they were a pain to get off. And luckily I knew what I was doing, because I remember that day specifically. I don't remember, I think she was at my house getting ready, and I think what ended up happening is I had to take a pair of pliers to pull up the dang zippers on the shoes, because they wouldn't go. I thought it was funny, now that I remember it. But yeah, that's funny. Oh man. Oh, that was a fun day, because, yeah, we both showed up, and nobody knew we were going to do this, and we just played it out like, oh, we just wanted to prank people, like, we just wanted to swap, outfits or something, because they would have never have assumed. Now they could look at us and be like, yeah, we knew. And it's like, nah, you didn't know, but thanks for thinking you knew, I guess, right? But, that was in, and so, like, that was good. The only problem I had with my prom, and I don't know if it's anybody else's proms that do this, but, like, no offense, it was mainly Spanish music, and, like, that's fine. I'm okay with it, but I don't understand it. And the fact that that's all that they wanted to play was kind of annoying. Like, it would have been nice to have had a mixture of, like, I know I'm not from the 80s, but it would have been nice to have had some 80s and 90s and some other, like, hip-hop and just some other stuff in it, because mainly the only reason I went there is just to say I went to prom, because, you gotta go. You can't not go. Like, that's your once-in-a-lifetime chance. I didn't want to screw with that, so I went, and my friend and I pigged out. Like, they had these little finger sandwiches. I swear to you, I don't even know. I ate so much that I was fat. And hint now, I smoke recreational marijuana now, and I didn't used to smoke then, so the amount of food I ate at that point was like, wow, how? Because then now I look at myself and I'm like, yeah, I could see it, but like, I didn't smoke then, so my body was like way different. But yeah, so back to it is we hung out there, we chilled, I think we took photos outside somewhere, I don't remember where and how. And it sucks because I wish I could get those, because I have a couple of photos. They're on my Facebook somewhere, and they're in my phone, I believe, that I just recently found from somewhere else that I took of my friend and I. So I have those, and that's kind of cool. So like at least I can reminisce on those, because like before the whole event, my mom and stuff took photos of us, because I was like, yeah, we want photos and whatever. Like that's a once in a lifetime thing, and this is like pre-transition for me and her. So like this is great. And so anyway, we decide after that I was like, I don't even know where I got the money from. Like, I don't know how I had money, but I was like, hey, you guys want to go to Denny's or something? And like, my mom was already half asleep anyway, but like, we're sitting there and I decided to come out. And she's like, oh, I already knew that. And like, that kind of sucked, because I was kind of hoping she wouldn't have known. But I mean, it was kind of cool at the same time, because at least I didn't have to go all into detail. Like, oh, hey, I'm coming out, I'm gay, whatever, like, oh my God, are you really? How long? Where it's like, nah, I've known, you're fine, continue on. It's like, oh, thanks, like, that was cool. And it reminds me, because I don't know, and I'm bringing this up because it's National Coming Out Day, I don't know if there's anybody that's doing it. I wish I could have, because I'm in Los Angeles, so it would have been nice for me to have thrown an event together, and I wish I would have thought about it, because damn, I love doing stuff for the community and giving back, and it would have been a cool little barbecue. But I'm wondering, and people can comment, because I'd love to know what's going on in other states and maybe countries too. But I want to know, does anybody have a National Coming Out Day event going on anywhere around them? I know today is Las Vegas Pride, so go Vegas! Woohoo! Pride! I love it. I would have attended, to those who are following me that live there, but it's just, again, financially I can't. But, I'll be out there next year. Hopefully I'll be moving back and living there at this point. But, yeah, I want to know if anybody's got an event. My mom and I have pictures of it. Funny story, and now that I think about it, and I need to go on Facebook and find them, because they'll come up. But my friends and I went to a National Coming Out Day festival back in Vegas. I don't know, probably a couple years back at least, maybe more than that. I don't know. It's been a while, because, it would have been today, or at least this weekend that it would have been. But, like, Vegas Pride is always changing its days and months, and it's so frustrating. So I never know when anything goes on around out there, unless I, like, legitimately pay close attention. But the National Coming Out Day was pretty cool. It was so, oh my God, now that I remember. And I hope my friend sees this, because he'll remember. But, like, we were both there, and there was some chicks with us, and my mom was there, which, again, my mom goes to me with all these events, because that's just my mom, and she loves me, and I love her for that. But it was like, I don't remember, but I think it was the first gay marriage of two chicks and two men, or maybe just two men, or maybe it was just two chicks. I don't know, but I know that there were a couple of people that got married on that day, and they were one of the first few to get married in Vegas before it was like all a thing. And I was like, wow, I actually get to witness this. Like, this is crazy. Like, it was weird. Like, we got to see it. And, you know, for me to be able to see stuff like that and to see the community, it's great. And I love it because it's so good to see that we can be happy, you know, and that's why I love events like that. And that's one of the reasons, you know, I want to get this channel going and get it out there, is I want to be able to get going and get motivated so I can start doing events like that. Because at some point I would love to travel to different cities and states and countries and put together events like this every so often, just because it's nice for us as a community to get out there and be around one another, because at least we feel safe in our own environment. We feel safe around our own people. It's a safe place, safe space, essentially, so we would hope. I mean, it's all about key and location, right? So I would love to be able to just do stuff like that, because, you know, when I'm around people in the community based, it's so much better because I feel so much at ease, and it's nice. You know, you get to see all walks of form of life there, you know, and especially when it's in your own city, you get to be like, wow, really? There's a lot more of us than I thought, you know, and that's the cool thing, is when you don't realize there's so many of us out there, it makes it so much more amazing, and, you know, to be able to connect with people too. Because that's one of the things that I want to do, is since I missed the Pride this year for Vegas, I went to LA Pride. So I don't know what's going to happen, but next year I'm going to try to go to LA and Vegas if I can, just because I want to see, maybe I'll pass out like little flyers or little post-it cards with my information for my channel, because again, I want to promote, I want to be out there, I want to get the community, I want to be able to talk to somebody if they need help and just let them know, hey, I'm here for you. You don't have to feel like you're alone, because that's another thing. And then, you know, I'm also here if anybody is feeling suicidal and all that, because I go through it myself, so I'm there to help somebody else. And, you know, I just want us to be all one community, one love, you know, that's just what I'm here for. But on that note, I think I'm going to cut this video straight out. I'm already at 26 minutes. I don't know when I'll be back. I would like to try to do this every day or every other day if I could, or at least once a week. But, you know, with stuff being so busy right now, and I'm also trying to get another job due to the fact that the one I have doesn't pay enough and give me enough hours. So seasons are coming. Don't forget to apply. Boo! Little scary. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's all the seasonal jobs, so I'm hoping to get one. So anyway, y'all have a blessed Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Pride. Happy National Coming Out Day. And voila.